We're Tom and Tracy.
I'm Tracy.
I'm Tom.
We're from Sailing Bucket List. Today's episode is a special one.
A word to the wise.
We have a word to the wise just for you. Where are we and why are we here, Tom?
Okay. Well, we are in the North Channel.
You can probably hear that wind howling outside. It's coming from what, the north, Tom?
It just switched from the north, which is protected. It's been blowing and raining all day.
So we've been thinking about this all day.
Bucket List sails north out of Charlevoix and heads past Mackinac into Lake Huron. After anchoring in Government Bay, we head into the North Channel to Meldrum Bay, where we enter Canada. We then head east to Little Current and eventually to Covered Portage.
So why are we here, Tom?
Well, we're here because we love this area to sail in. It's wonderful. It's probably the best sailing area in the North America. And short of doing the loop, it's probably the most adventuresome destination. On a light wind, beautiful day, Bucket List is sailing from Rouse Island to Eagle Island.
This definitely shows the beauty of the North Channel. It also shows how much wide open water there is. On this particular day of travel, we saw one other boat the whole day. It's pretty darn remote.
And this photo is a rare super blue moon over the swing bridge in Little Current.
The vast majority of time in the North Channel, we or anybody who's up here is really kind of off the grid, living on an anchor. There are little towns and little marinas you can come into, but they're pretty few and far between.
And a lot of areas where you have nothing. You have no cell phone coverage, no internet.
How peaceful is that?
Yes.
How challenging is that? How rewarding is that? It's all great. That's why we're here. If you want to see more reasons of why we're doing this, why we're living on our boat, check out episode 6, 7 Reasons We Sail.
On Sailing Bucket List.
With us sailing on Bucket List, we each have our own specialties, things that we're good at, things that are within our comfort zone.
And comfort zone is a good term because, as we'll talk about in a minute, I like driving the boat. Tracy likes getting everything ready for dockage. You know, we're just both very good and comfortable at those tasks.
Will you talk for a minute about that Lake Michigan rule?
But the key with that rule is if the weather is bad, if the lake isn't bad, the conditions on the lake are bad, irregardless, if one of us doesn't want to go on a particular day to a particular location, we don't go. Either one of us can blackball the trip.
Yep. Part of the Lake Michigan rule is that we're both aware of the weather forecast. We're both aware of the condition of the boat and where we're going, and that's how we decide. Each one of us independently decides if that's something that we want to take on or if it's not something we want to take on.
And by the way, we do the weather jointly.
After we make a decision to go, we do a good job of sharing our time at the helm.
Well, before that, we also make the course. We put the course on our iPad before we leave, and we have a nice safe course to follow.
My real strengths in this partnership are arranging the fenders, dealing with the lines, and planning provisioning. What are your strengths, Tom?
I enter and leave harbors, and in the past, I've always been up front with the anchor. Tracy's been back at the helm.
Yep. And what about mechanical issues?
Well, right, and when things break, and they will, will at least make an attempt to get us home.
And you've always been successful at that. Yeah. Thank you. Another strength of mine that I forgot to mention is first aid.
Yes.
We have both taken classes in first aid and CPR, which is a really good idea for anybody that's boating or involved in much of anything. I have a little more experience since I was a high school coach and had a little extra training, and it's an area of interest of mine. You know, previously, as you know, Tom, we owned a 26-foot trailerable sailboat, which routinely, during the middle of the week, as a teacher with my summers off, I was able to take friends out on the lake, the local lake near St. Louis, and I would take the boat to and from the dock, and I would anchor it, and I would do it all without you.
Starting the motor, killing the motor, anchoring, pulling the anchor up, everything.
Well within my comfort zone to do that, and a great source of pride for me, too, to be able to take my friends out.
You knew the lake, you knew the marina, and
I knew the boat.
Yeah.
And I've just never taken time to get that comfortable with this boat. On this boat, we've kind of gotten into our comfort zone with each of us having our roles. For example, when we are pulling into an anchorage, Tom always goes up on the bow. He handles dropping the anchor, retrieving the anchor while I'm at the helm. Many of the areas of the North Channel are fairly remote and isolated. Some, like this one, which is Little Detroit Passage, require skillful navigation and boat handling. Currently, Tom is always at the helm in such situations. Recently, Tom, that's forced us out of our comfort zone. You want to talk about that?
Sometime between Charlevoix and the North Channel, 3 days, something happened. I inadvertently bumped my leg, and when we were in little current, my leg really started to hurt, and I had a difficult time of walking, which is not too good. In fact, when we got to little current, Tracy had to go up and get provisions herself.
Why don't you stand up and show them?
Well,
I'm embarrassing you.
I don't know if you can see it, but I have a ice that's strapped to my leg, and I've been wearing that to bed a couple times during the day, and that's made my leg feel a lot better.
That's good, but it's gotten me to play the what if game in my head. What if that leg was worse? What if it was some other kind of a problem and Tom couldn't be at the helm of the boat? He couldn't bring the boat into a marina. He couldn't go up front and drop the anchor. That's forcing us to change.
I couldn't stand at the helm and drive the boat.
I just asked myself the question, if I had to, could I get us back to Little Current to take Tom to a doctor? Or even harder, could I get us all the way back to Charlevoix? Tom guiding me verbally, but not physically involved.
Also, maybe you just needed to get us to Drummond Island in the United States.
That would be a pretty big challenge right there for me. Yeah. If I can't get this boat into a marina. When we were in Florida, in Panama City, remember that one we met?
Right, yeah.
The one we met she was anchored outside a marina in Panama City. Her husband had a heart attack.
Yeah.
And she figured out how to operate the VHF radio and call the Coast Guard, and they extracted him from the boat and took him to the hospital, and he's fine. But then she's anchored out there.
Yeah.
And what happened to her?
Well, luckily there were some boaters nearby, I think, that got on her boat, and brought it into dock.
And fortunately, they were nice people and they were well informed people, and it was successful getting her back into the dock. But I don't like the idea of leaving myself at the mercy of whatever person is going by.
Right.
So our word to the wise is cross-train. We both need to cross-train. Maybe you need to know a little more about first aid. Maybe I need to know how to bring the boat into the dock. But that is certainly achievable, and this is what's going to work for us. But we're jumping out there and kind of recommending that to anybody that goes boating, that really in this world there isn't that such thing as a skipper and a passenger. It doesn't work that well. Can you hear me?
This is Tracy pulling the anchor rod into the boat.
It's almost as bad as going to an OBGYN.
Oh my. I'm going over to the anchor float. There's our anchor, about 50 feet from the boat. I think we're going to try blowing it off the dock. So, first off, the starboard, by the way, the starboard bow line, off that bow. Then, okay, then I'm going to ask you basically to hold the bow line. So I get off that. All right, go ahead. Okay, go reverse.
Thank you for your help. We appreciate it.
No worries, have a good one, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
No worries.
We'll do a little bit more reverse. Okay, now forward. Okay. Some more gas. Some more diesel. That's good. That's not a little much. Oh, you're on course, right? Spider Bay Marina. This is bucket list. All right, we just left the town docks. We'll be at your location in about 5 minutes. Very good. Bucket list of 6-8. Tracy, watch it.
How far out am I? So I need to go 12 feet to the right.
Just keep going straight.
Is he out there?
Yes, yes. How you doing? Now I'm going to give you a little stern. And then we have a bow thruster to help us with the bow. Right, Trace. Left, Trace. Slow down, slow down. Slow down. Okay, Trace, bow thruster to the right. Tie that off without hanging this bow line. Okay, we're fine.
So that's what we're working on. And that's our word to the wise. Stay tuned and see if I can bring myself up to par to get this boat into a marina. Get that anchor up and down. Thanks for watching. Hope you've learned something. We're inspired now to increase our skills. Hope that you're inspired to do that too.